Good morning, everyone. My name is Anup. I am from CS department, IT first year student. Thank you all of you for joining this group discussion, which is on the role of youth in politics and governance. Youth often defined as the age between 15 to 35, and it represents a huge amount in any country, huge portion. And according to United Nation data, it is about 1.5 billion in any country, whole global on a global level, and it is actively participating in to make a exclusive and sustainable nation, to make a progressive society. Today we will explore the youth involvement in politics and in governance and the challenges they are facing and how we can empower them today. And I hope today different perception will we will put there on a single page, and we will explore different perceptions here.
Like the youth representation of demographic is also very important. The number of youth population is significant in many countries. The participation of the youth ensure that the policies reflect the needs and the aspirations of the all groups, like they are in the younger generation or they are from the older generation. An example of the representation of demographic is in the inclusion of the youth in the India's national youth parliament festival, that was NYPF. This platform allows young peoples to express their views on the public issues, directly influencing the policymakers. In a country like India, where nearby the 50% of the population is under the age of 25, such initiatives ensure that youth concerns and such initiatives also help to educate the reforms, employment, and the climate change that are represented in the policy decisions.
Definitely, Ravi. I completely agree with you, and I would like to extend it. I believe today's youth are very sensitive about long-term vision and sustainability. Young leaders are more likely to prioritize long-term goals such as environmental sustainability, education reform, and social justice, as they will live with the consequences of today's discussion. An example that proves this point is Zedinka Ardern, the former Prime Minister of New Zealand, who prioritized the long term goals like climate action, social justice, and mental health reform. Under her leadership, New Zealand committed to achieving net zero emission by 2050 and introduced policies focused on child welfare and affordable housing. Her emphasis on long term well being rather than short term economic gains reflect the forward thinking of approach of younger leaders.
Yes, I completely agree with all the opinions of my friends. I want to add that youth can play a vital role in bridging the gap between generations. Youth can act as a bridge between the old generation and future ones, ensuring the policies are inclusive and forward thinking. Youth can play a crucial role in bridging the gap between generations by acting as a link between traditional values and modern perspectives. They help facilitating dialogue, promote mutual understanding, and ensure continuity in social and cultural economic development. An example of youth bridging the generation gap is through a digital literacy program where younger people teach older generation how to use technology, promoting inclusively and reducing the digital divide.
Fantastic. It's a good start to our group discussion. Here all of you put your opinions why youth is important in politics and governance. I would like to summarize for fresh perceptions, innovation, representation in demographic, bridging gap between generation, and lastly vision and sustainability. That is why youth matters in today's time. Now I would like to request all of you, please shift your focus on the current challenges which are faced by our youth in politics and in governance.
Anup, there are many challenges which are faced by youth in today's context, and I want your attention to structural barriers like age restrictions. Many countries have age restrictions for political candidacy, making difficult for young people to run the office. For example, in some countries, you must have to be at least 35 to run for president. One more is lacking of financial resources and political connections also prevents youth from entering the politics.
You are absolutely right, Navneet. I want to highlight one more challenge which is faced by youth is skepticism and stereotype. Youth people are often
आपके बैकग्राउंड
perceived
से ज्यादा आवाज
पिन
आ
भी
रहा
कर
है।
दियो
inexperienced,
और
immature,
अनपिन भी कर दियो
or too
बात खत्म हो गई
idealistic. This undermines the credibility and makes harder for them to gain support. Example, youth politicians are sometimes dismissed as too young to lead even when they have relevant expertise and ideas.
I'm completely agree with you, Priya. Your point is valid, and in my view, there are many more challenges faced by the youth. One of them is the political apathy and the disengagement of the youth in the elections. Many youth feel disconnected from the traditional political system, viewing them as a corrupt and the outdated and the unresponsive to their needs. This lead to the lower voter turnout and the disengagement of the youth. Like, for example, in many countries, youth voters are turnout significantly lower than the older age. According to the Election Commission of India, the voter turnout was in the elections of the previous years 46 to 50% of the youth was turnout, while the turnout in the old age peoples was around 67%.
Yes, I definitely agree with you. All the point of views and your perspective which are expressed by my friends. I believe that lack of mentorship and training is also a concern for nowadays for today's youth. Young people often lack to access mentorships and training programs that could help them to navigate the complexities of politics and governance.
I completely agree with all the points which are raised here, and it is all the valid concern here. All we discuss what are the challenges for youth in today's time. In short, if I summarize the challenges like structural barrier in particularly in age, skepticism or stereotype, political apathy and disengagement. Lack of mentorship also a problem, and training is also a problem and challenge. All these are major challenges for the today's youth. Now we are going ahead in our GD. I would like to request all of you, please shift your focus. How can youth contribute to governance or in politics? What's your opinion on this?
Uh, to be very honest, in my view, there are many ways for youth to contribute to politics and governance. One of them is advocacy and activism. Youth-led movements have the power to drive social and political change. By advocating for issues like climate action, gender equality, education reform, and many more social activities that young people can hold governments accountable. For example, Nirbhaya movement in the year 2012, a brutal gang rape in Delhi sparked mass protest across India, largely driven by students and youth. So, this is youth power. The purpose of this movement was to give justice to Nirbhaya.
You are absolutely right. Yes, I would like to add something on this. Technology and innovation is also a medium to contribute in governance. Young people are often early adapters of technology and can use digital tools to perform improve governance. For example, they can develop e-governance platform, use social media for awareness campaigns, and leverage data analytics for evidence-based policy making. In Estonia, young tech-savvy leaders have helped build one of the world's most advanced digital governance system.
Yes, technology and innovation would be medium, but I think grassroots engagement is the best way to contribute to governance or in politics. Youth can play a crucial in connecting governments with local communities by engaging the grassroots level. They can ensure the policies are inclusive, address the needs of marginalized group. Example, youth-led community organization often work on issues like healthcare, access, education, and poverty alleviation.
Yeah, no doubt all the points are very true. But I believe that without political representation in decision making, we cannot contribute to the governance or in the politics. Young leaders in the parliament and the local government and also in the international organizations can bring diverse perspectives to the table and advocate for the policies that will be beneficial for the future generations. Like for examples, when the New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, who became a global leader in her 30s for the campaign that was very progressive on the policies of the climate change and the social welfare. That was a very good step about her.
Definitely, all these points are very true to show the contribution of youth in governance in or in politics. In short, if I summarize the contribution of youth in governance by doing advocacy, activism, grassroots engagement, and lastly, using the technology and political representation by in process decision making. And now I would like to draw your attention how we can empower our youth for a political leadership role. What's your
I
opinion on
think
this?
I think there are many ways to empower youth for political leadership, and one of which is I want to express is education and awareness. Civic education programs can help young people understand their rights, responsibilities, and the importance of political participation. Schools and university can play a key role in fostering the political awareness. Example, countries like India and Sweden have integrated civic education into their school curriculum, which helps youth to understand their governance structure and working process of government. In this way, they are also familiar with the politics and stuff.
Yes, of course. I'm not going to contradict my friend Navneet's opinion, and I definitely agree with it. But I believe mentorship and training is the best way to empower youth for political leadership. Experienced leaders can mentor young politicians, providing guidance on leaderships, policy making, and navigating political systems. Organizations like UN, United Nations, and the European Union offer youth leadership programs. For an example, India's National Youth Parliament Festival, the NYPF. This platform allows young people to express their views on public issues, directly influencing the policymakers. The UN Envoy's Office works to amplify the voices of young people in global decision making processes.
Yeah, I think that the policy reforms in the age can be empowered our youth political leadership. Government can lower the age criteria and create the quota in the legislatures and provide the funding for the youth to lead the political initiatives. These reforms can make political system more inclusive and accessible to the youth. For example, in India, 33% of the parliament seat are reserved for women and the youth, ensuring their representation in government.
Fantastic. All the suggestions are very valid to show how we can empower our youth for political leadership, which are like that by advocating education and campaign policy reform, particularly in age, and by providing training and mentorship, and by encouraging youth to lead initiatives. Now we are in the end of our group discussion. I would like to ask a few questions, and I will request to all the members please answer these questions openly. All are free to answer. So first question, what are some examples of youth lead political movement that have made impact on our country or globally?
A few such movements, examples are such as Chipko movement. The Chipko movement, which was started in the year 1970, it was a program for grassroots movements led by the villagers for saving the trees by hugging them. And it was led by many young individual students. They protested against deforestation and indiscriminate cutting of the trees by hugging them.
Yes, APC. There are many more examples where the youth lead for the political movements. When many of the remarkable movements from India, like the movement against the corruption, that was led by the Lokpal Singh in 2011. That was also very famous in the whole world.
Fantastic example,
Yes,
Ravi. Yes. And next question which
few
I
more
want to ask.
examples. रुक जा.
You want to add someone? Okay. Something
Yes.
else. Okay, okay, continue.
Anti-reservation protest. In the year 2006, the protest was against the government's decision to introduce special quotas for OBCs in the universities, which is basically for youth only, and youth will be affected with this, and therefore youth movements were this which repelled this.
Okay, fantastic example. Yes, and now I would like to ask another question. How can we encourage many more people to vote in elections?
To increase
Youth
the
are
vote,
Okay, okay, one by one,
yes,
please.
Priya. Yes, Priya, you continue.
Uh, Youth are the assets of any country, and their role toward nation building can't be ignored. And in a democratic country like India, it becomes all the more important for the young people to know their rights and duties well, and also to participate in the democratic processes. Exercising one's franchise is one more most important aspects of representative democracy.
Fantastic example, Priya. Someone wants to add more.
Yeah,
Yes, APC.
we can empower our young people to become an active voter by adding civic education awareness in schools, in digital platforms, and can we can simplify the voting process by adding the online registration to the voting and making voting more accessible to the young peoples and more peoples, and engagement through the matter which is totally related to them, relevant to the youth, so that they will get engaged to that topic and come to the politics, and their participation will be count at the fullest. And we can also add mentorship so that they can get the idea what they have to do for the politics and stuff.
Yes, adding a point to the Navneet's description, we can also contribute to increase the vote percentage in the youth by adding some campaigns by the local authorities, by the universities, and by the groups like NSS, RSS, and many others who can launch the campaigns and perform small plays that represent the importance of the vote.
Great example by my friends Ravi and Navneet. Someone wants to add more. Okay, continue. And I'm going to ask next question. What will be the role of social media in increasing youth engagement in politics or in governance?
As
So,
we know that nowadays generally social media is the largest platform for any advertisement, any movements, or anything, as everyone mostly in the world is connected through social media and checks it nowadays, even every time. As we can see, the examples such as YouTube, Google, Instagrams, and all. So we can encourage more young people to vote and participate in the elections by by advertising for elections for voting people, by making them understand that how they can change, how youth role is important in changing the countries and the politics, so that the coming generation will be better and the country will progress and the economy of the country will always increase.
When we are talking about the role of social media, we can take a recent example of a YouTuber. I will not name him, but he impacted very much in the previous elections for the party he was supporting, and that was really very good and made a impactful thing on the results of the elections.
Okay, Ravi, good example. I got it. Anybody wants to add something? No? Okay, then fine. We are going ahead. And now I'm going to ask next question. What step can government and educational institute can take and civil society can take to empower youth in politics?
Universities or schools should add the importance of the vote and the civics portion to the students' study material, so that student will be aware about that more, and hence the vote percentage will also increase, and the leadership qualities of the students and their willingness to get into politics will also increase.
Anybody else?
Yeah, we can provide them a platform where they can raise their where they can encourage their critical thinking and get the political engagement such as internship in a student council and prepare for the active participation in politics. Civil society can amplify youth voices through advocacy campaigns, support youth-led initiatives, and create space for the dialogue with policymakers. Together, these entities can cultivate a political engaged, informed, and a empowered younger generation.
Thank you, Navneet.
Yes, government can empower youth and in politics. For example, we can say that nowadays the young generation is the upcoming generation. So government should always encourage people, launch new schemes for youth and new plans, new ideas for youth. Coming to educational institutions. So educational institutions plays a most important role for the youth empowerment in every field, and especially in the politics field, it plays an important role, as the educational is the initial age of a student. So student can get to learn something and learn about politics, what is politics and how can we understand politics, and why. Firstly, the main question is, why do we need politics? So all the students will come to know that why do we need politics in our life, to make our life easy and with rules and regulation. Now coming to the civil society. Firstly, the thing is that a student or a youth can learn their things from surroundings, and what they experience, what they listen, what they come to see nowadays. As that's it.
Yes, I want to add some more. Uh, Moreover, youth empowerment requires a creative and inclusive and sportive environment. Governments must encourage youth participation in decision making, respect to their opinions, and engage them in community development. Addressing societal barriers like discrimination and inequality is also vital to their progress.
Well said, Priya. And yes, anybody wants to add more? Okay. So we are going to conclude our GD. Today we explore the critical role of youth in politics and governance. We discuss how young people bring fresh perceptions and challenges like lack of opportunities and skepticism, and the contribution of youths and the advocacy and technology grassroots engagement. We also talk about the importance of empower youth through education, mentorship, and policy reforms. As we are going to conclude, let's remember the future of any nations lies in the hand of youth generation. So it's our collective responsibility to give opportunity to the youth to lead political leadership roles and make a progressive political environment where young peoples can lead and thrive. Thank you all of you for joining this group discussion and for your contribution and insightful valuable opinions. Thank you to all of you, and we will make a great nation together.